The very first lyrics to come through were, ever since the day we first met, God created love that he had kept. You are loved, and nothing's going to change that. Don't be scared. It's all right. God has given us this love, and he will never let it fall apart. He will never leave our side. And the feeling here from Spirit that we are moving collectively into a place where many people will have to come to their knees in prayer or come to a relationship with God that they may not have had to before. It's one of those things where, a fish doesn't know it's in water until we remove the water, or we create that separation. And sometimes there has to be a moment of truth that, we create on the soul level in order to have this reconnection with our source, with that true awareness, so that we remember that, we are not the person creating this reality. We are the co-creator. And when we can really engage that attitude, we start to live a life that is not only bringing peace and harmony and abundance into our lives, but our very presence is then changing the soul of the space of everywhere that we are going, because we are allowing ourselves to be that divine conduit of grace and allowing that love and that wisdom to flow through us. So this supporting energy of engaging higher reason, Spirit speaks to this because the collective of humanity is very unsure right now of what is actually true and what is fear and what is illusion talking. And Spirit speaks to our human selves feeling insecure and threatened, consciously and definitely unconsciously. And to know that we are safe, that this is actually a time of discernment and separating fact from fiction. And each human is being given the opportunity to kind of fall sway to the spell, or to really deepen into their own level of discernment through going inward and responding to life's challenges in a more grounded, neutral way, instead of just emotionally reacting to whatever situation is in front of us. We're encouraged to call on Spirit to provide this wise discernment in every moment and to trust that it will come. And to also rise above rushing emotions. So once again, this time of electricity, of amplification, of course, it can lead to mental anxiety, but it can also lead to really fluctuating emotions. And Spirit referred to these as emotionally charged rapids of the moment, to remain detached and to observe the situation objectively, and in all capital letters, to take nothing personally. As hard as that may be, we're really encouraged not to assume another's intent right now, that we can be creating whole stories based off of these assumptions. Instead, to remain calm and available to all points of view without feeling defensive. And, it's easy to say that, don't feel defensive. But I think what Spirit really means here is that, we may feel that defensiveness rise up, and then to kind of take a moment, take that deep breath, and to ask, what are the other points of view that are being shown to me right now? And how can I remain receptive to that? Specifically, resisting emotional drama, Spirit said, no matter how enticing that might be, recognizing that it has an addictive lure, and including righteous anger. And Spirit says this is a tricky one, because righteous anger is something that, feels important to hold in the body for a certain amount of time. And yet, if we continue to live from that place, we are then, once again, Spirit says, seeing through the smoke and mirrors of the projected reality rather than tuning into our own intuition and instinct. So how do we organize our thoughts right now? Well, Spirit says preferably through a meditative, a prayer practice, or some type of soul inquiry where we are reflecting inward more than we are questioning outward. That is the am I moving into the I am. And we do this because we start to realize that we will receive all of our answers from the divine when we are willing to go into this space. And we no longer have to seek advice outside of ourselves, because through this meditation, through this prayer and this inquiry, we become that living prayer where we are the channel and the access to this information at all times. It also helps, Spirit says, to stay out of the thought swirls by engaging in practices of stillness and quietude, particularly in nature, and removing ourselves from the endless spirals of conflict that others are creating or that the world is giving to us at large, as this helps to restore our equilibrium during a turbulent time. We are moving through a very fast, rapid pace of releasing our victim consciousness. And Spirit says, ask for a vision of your life and allow logic to lead over any reactive emotional states right now. So once again, we're really being encouraged to step back from any blame, any type of situation where we start to feel victimized by what has happened to us or what's occurring, and instead to ask Spirit for the discernment of what we need, the wisdom we need to move through it, as well as a vision of our lives moving forward if we are experiencing something that maybe was not the plan that we necessarily had in mind.